Belmont Park is the setting as Jose Santos hopes to continue his amazing year. His magical ride aboard Funny Side took him to wins in the Derby and Preakness. And in today's Brooklyn Handicap, he's aboard Valpony, the shocking winner in last fall's Breeders' Cup Classic.
It's going to be a huge upset. 40 to 1 on the wire. Valpony scores in the Classic.
We'll then take you to Delaware Park, where it's anybody's race. A wide open field takes to the track in the Leonard Richards Stakes. And finally, storied Churchill Downs is the setting for the Stephen Foster Handicap. Trainer Bobby Frankel, fresh off his Belmont Stakes victory, looks to Aldebaran to continue his hot streak. But Mineshaft has other ideas as the NTRA Summer Racing Tour kicks off next on CBS. Welcome to historic Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, as CBS Sports begins its coverage of the NTRA Summer Racing Tour. It was exactly 6 weeks ago that Funny Side rose to the occasion and crossed under this finish line as the 129th Kentucky Derby winner. Today, beneath the famed Twin Spires, Churchill plays host to its second biggest stakes race of the year, the Grade 1 Stephen Foster Handicap. Part of a big day of racing we'll be bringing you over the next hour. And let's take a look at the lineup. Now, there's a bit of a change in the Brooklyn Handicap, a bit of a delay due to weather conditions. We'll have an update on that from Caden Bradar. And then down in Delaware for the Leonard Richards. This a Grade 3 at 1 1/16 for 3-year-olds. And then the anchor, the Grade 1 Stephen Foster Handicap right here from Churchill Downs. It's a Grade 1, and it will be a super matchup on Super Saturday. Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Seibel, and welcome to the NTRA Summer Racing Tour on CBS. I'm joined by Randy Moss, who will once again lend his keen insight and analysis, that's right, to the broadcast this season. Randy, we've just come off a rather dramatic time in horse racing. Funny Side's bid for the Triple Crown and all the hoopla and really attention surrounding the quest, but the racing season and divisional honors far from over.
Absolutely. It's been 7 days and 7 nights since the Belmont. Don't think it's stopped raining yet in New York. But as far as the racing goes, we've kept the momentum going here as we start our summer tour. I mean, look at what we've got here. We've got Mineshaft, who might be the best horse in the country right now. We have the horse that upset the Breeders' Cup Classic last fall at huge odds. The horses that finished second and third in the Kentucky Derby of 2002. We've got America's newest villain in trainer Bobby Frankel and America's newest celebrity in jockey Jose Santos.
And we'll talk more about Jose Santos in just a couple of moments. In the meantime, an overview of the series. 4 consecutive Saturdays, 12 live races in all, covering 5 different divisions. We'll also offer an NTRA Summer Pick 3 4-hour, 3 live races each week. Now, Valpony and Santos, headliners in the Brooklyn Handicap today. But as we said, a weather delay. They've just had some nasty weather over in Elmont, New York. And for an update, let's go over to Caden Bradar at Belmont Park. Caden, what's happening now?
Well, Gary, Randy's partly right. It hasn't stopped raining, at least not today. It did stop for just a few minutes earlier today, and it's a little-known fact that the name Brooklyn actually originates from the Dutch word for marshland. I'm not kidding here, and that is what we have on the track right now. It is very marshy, very sloppy. A ferocious storm moved in here about 20 minutes ago, very untimely, turned the track from fast to sloppy in a matter of about 10 minutes. The 8th race was postponed and pushed back, and the storm was so intense, complete with thunder and lightning, that the New York fans actually cheered the bugler when he came out to call the horses to post. It's let up slightly. New York Racing Association officials have pushed the post time on the Brooklyn back about 12 minutes, but rain or shine will go on and serve as an important stepping stone for some of the top older horses in the nation, just as it has before. And as I spoke to some of the connections earlier, they pointed out all 5 are based here in New York. They're as used to it as Brooklynites and New Yorkers. So the show will go on just about 12 minutes later than usual. Gary?
Kate, and you along with the bugler at Belmont Park, very brave to be out in that weather right now. Let's take a look at the current odds for the Brooklyn Handicap. And again, a small but select field here. The Bobby Frankel runner, El Grandpapa Randy, scratched out.
Sarland, who ran very well in similar sloppy conditions in his last start, right now is the 9-5 favorite over Harlan's Holiday at 5-2. A 5-horse field that is certainly not short on talent.
Now, Bobby Frankel, also a very smart man. Many people know that. Instead of dealing with the rain over at Belmont Park, he's staying dry over here at Churchill Downs, also with Hall of Famer Jerry Bailey. They're both Hall of Famers, and they'll combine today here in the Stephen Foster with Aldebaran. Now, here's a look at the morning line odds for our race. The big one on the day, the Stephen Foster, a grade 1, a couple of scratches, bonus pack for Tom Proctor and Slider. Joe Woodard scratched that one out as well.
You see on the first page there, mostly long shots. Crafty Shaw was also on the fence as to whether or not they were going to run him or not, but they've persevered. Mine Shaft, the big favorite right now, 8-5 on the morning line again. Probably lower than that when the betting starts. Aldebaran, second choice on the program at 5-2.
All right, a look at the morning line odds for the grade 1 Stephen Foster coming up later today. Better late than never, talking about the Brooklyn Handicap from Belmont. We'll have it for you. It's all straight ahead when we return on the NTRA Summer Racing Tour.
There are people in this world who know a good horse when they see one, usually from a lifetime of association. They see something in the carriage, the movement, the gait, the speed. Knowing a good horse flows from experience, looking to the future over generations. Experience. Bessemer Trust, enhancing private wealth for generations.
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head, young man's head, young man's head? Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
She probably inherited it from me. Just like I had a passion for doing my mom's hair, she's got one for doing mine. But I've got a way to recover.
Total Hair Recovery from Alberto VO5. Our unique 5-vitamin formula is proven to make hair up to 80% stronger and shinier, leaving it in great condition.
Here comes my hairdresser again.
One of the many conditioners from the experts at Alberto VO5. Hair care for real life.
Introducing Long John Silver's crunchiest shrimp ever. Our new Golden Crunch Shrimp. Deliciously crunchy breading on our succulent, juicy shrimp. Try it with a drizzle of honey sauce. It doesn't get any crunchier than this. Now get 5 big pieces of our Golden Crunch Shrimp with a piece of our delicious one-of-a-kind batter dip fish, plus fries and hush puppies and a drink for just $3.99. It's our crunchiest shrimp ever. New Golden Crunch Shrimp. Dive into something new at Long John Silver's.
Paul Tracy and Bruno Junqueira put the heat on first-time winner Michel Jourdain Jr. at the Grand Prix of Monterey. The Champ Car World Series, Sunday on CBS. This CBS Sports Spectacular, the NTRA Summer Racing Tour, is sponsored by Long John Silver's. How can you resist? Bessemer Trust, enhancing private wealth for generations. And by FedEx, Ground International Online or Express. Don't worry, there's a FedEx for that.
On the track for the 29th running of the Fleur-de-Lis Handicap. The Fleur-de-Lis is part of the distaff division.
And welcome back, everybody, to the NTRA Summer Racing Tour on CBS. One of the signs of summer, lots of rain, and they got it not long ago at Belmont Park in New York. It has delayed the running of the Brooklyn Handicap, but we will have that coming up in just a couple of minutes. About a 12-minute delay on the post time. Look at the Belmont paddock, one of the most beautiful paddocks in all of racing as they get ready for the Brooklyn Handicap. Iron Deputy, that was a look at the 2-horse in there, one of the leading contenders, and I think a horse that my partner Randy Moss likes a little bit as well. We'll talk more about that in a second. As a matter of fact, Randy, the winner of the Brooklyn Handicap will join a long line of very prominent horses to have won that race, including the great Seabiscuit. On the subject of Seabiscuit, each week on the NTRA Summer Racing Series and leading up to the July 25th premiere of the much anticipated movie Seabiscuit, we will be bringing you kind of a behind-the-scenes look at how the movie was made. Well, what did it take to turn jockey, or at least actor, Tobey Maguire into jockey Tobey Maguire? Let's find out in this Seabiscuit vignette.
How far do you want me to take him?
Till he stops.
Till he he stops.
In this particular movie, I wrote the lead for Toby. He has incredible sensitivity and unbelievable toughness at the same time.
Pull him back, pull your arm back.
I worked out with Chris McCarron in terms of getting my form down and also to get some strength and endurance for my legs.
He developed a great style right away with very little instruction.
Toby Maguire, for one, has learned how tough it is to be a jockey from watching your weight every single day.
Well, I dropped about 20 pounds to thin out a little bit and have it be believable that I could be a jockey. I got up on a few different horses because it took a lot of them to create the character. I just have a great time with horses.
He caught on very quickly. He's a good study. He's a great study.
He did some great writing in the show, and you know, hearing the jockeys talk about him, you know, they're saying, hey, this kid can really ride.
And register for a chance to win a trip to the world premiere of the movie Seabiscuit in Los Angeles. Log on to NTRA.com. Well, you know, many years ago, Jerry Bailey also learned how to be a jockey, not for a role in a movie, but rather to lay the foundation for what has turned into one of the most successful riding careers in the history of the sport. No one has learned the craft any better. And right now, he's standing by with Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Thanks, Gary. Well, speaking of winners, I'm joined by one of the all-time greats, Hall of Famer Jerry Bailey. Jerry, when many of us last saw you, you were winning the Belmont. Tell us about that race. Were you confident the whole race, or was there ever a moment of doubt?
I was confident going in, Leslie, and as the race unfolded, I became more and more confident. Halfway through the race, if you could have seen, I had a big smile on my face.
What about when you got a little pressure there?
It didn't really worry me. I mean, it looked worse to the naked eye, but I knew that Empire Maker kind of waits on his competition. As soon as they come, he kind of hits another gear again.
What about this race? This is a horse going around 2 turns. Bobby Frankel didn't give you any advice in the Belmont, but what about here?
Well, I'm going to have to play it by as fast as the pace goes, and there's not going to be nearly as much as he saw back in New York, and a hot pace helps Aldebaran. He's not going to get that today, and so his work's cut out for him.
You rode the horse last year, then were off him for a while. How has he matured?
He's really learned how to win. I called him a bridesmaid last year. He's always second, always running really well. But this year, he's getting the job done. He's running by his last horse with authority. Let's hope he can do it again today.
Well, if you like him, a lot of people like him. Thanks a lot, Jerry. Back to you, Gary.
All right, Leslie, thanks so much. Both Jerry Bailey and Bobby Frankel, Hall of Famers, in 1995 inducted together, and they'll team up again today. Randy?
Don't think it's a stretch, certainly, to say that Jerry Bailey's not only the best jockey in America, he is the greatest jockey in the world right now, and it goes further than just athletic ability. It's the cerebral part of it, the mental approach. He plans things out so carefully, handicaps the race in advance, and that's helped get him where he is now.
A thinking man's jockey, Jerry Bailey. Valpone, winner of the Breeders' Cup Classic. Part of the field in the Brooklyn Handicap today in the paddock at the track. There's a look at Valpone. He's one of the stars, and we will have him in the Brooklyn right after this.
We have got to cut costs, people.
Don't stop, boy. Don't ever stop.
Seabiscuit. At theaters Friday, July 25th. Big Brother is back, but the new house guests face a twist so unbelievable, all of America will be talking.
Scandalous!
All new Big Brother premieres CBS Tuesday, July 8th.
Welcome back. Follow all of this year's Breeders' Cup contenders with the fastest live results from tracks all across the country. Just click on horses at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Well, earlier today here at Churchill Downs, they did it again. They arrived in buses, not as many people, but still on a yellow school bus. In the foreground, that is Sakatoga Stable managing partner Jack Knowlton to his left. Also Sakatoga Stable member David Mann. I guess well worth the wait as they received the Kentucky Derby trophy today after Funnyside's victory here at Churchill Downs. So a very, very fine effort and a big day today at Churchill Downs. Well, once again, we're going to go back to the paddock here at Churchill and join Leslie Visser for some comments on Jose Santos.
Thanks, Gary. Well, maybe this is the day at Belmont for Jose Santos. As you know, a week ago today, he was the talk of the town, any town, from the sidewalks of New York to the Santa Monica Pier. But it wasn't to be. He wasn't destined to be aboard a Triple Crown winner. Instead, he was beaten by a royally bred horse and an equally brilliant rider. But Santos is nothing if not the comeback kid. He survived substance abuse, serious injury, and a baseless accusation of cheating after the crowning moment of his career. Well, 8 months ago, Jose Santos teamed up with Valponi to kick off his comeback in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Gary, I think it's fitting that he be aboard Valponi today.
Leslie, thanks. We are now looking at Belmont Park, Belmont, New York, and a little chuckle from Randy Moss here because it wasn't long ago, maybe what, a half an hour ago, Randy, that we were looking at what they were calling a fast track at Belmont, and now it's just a quagmire as we take a look at the current odds.
Very familiar track conditions, obviously exactly the same conditions that you just saw with Empire Maker defeating Funnyside in the Belmont. And there's a look at the current odds with a little switch now. Harlan's Holiday, the 2-to-1 favorite, over Sarland next at 5-2, but evenly matched betting.
Once again, we'll head out now to Belmont Park for the Brooklyn Handicap and another update with Caden Bradar. Caden?
Well, Gary, Jose Santos has said all along that he has two big horses to look forward to this year, Funnyside and Valponi. And to that effect, Valponi is actually for his Hall of Fame trainer, but a fairy tale come to life. It was last year when he shocked the racing world at odds of 43-1 in the Breeders' Cup Classic, surprising everyone but his Hall of Fame trainer, P.G. Johnson. In the twilight of his career, P.G. Johnson has special significance with the horse and the race last year in that he not only trains the horse, but owns the horse and bred the horse in partnership with his wife, Mary Kay, and his two daughters. The couple celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary at last year's Breeders' Cup. Now, they've earmarked this year's Breeders' Cup to prove that the win last year was no fluke. And to that effect, PG has mapped out a very conservative campaign. He has said all along that because of the rain, he's taken his time with his horse, hasn't gotten to train him exactly the way he wanted to, but he believes still that the horse is on track and capable of a big race. He also stated earlier that Harlan's Holiday is, he feels the horse to beat, though he always fears Sarland, given Shug McGahee and the way he gets his horses ready. But all horses involved should be able to handle this type of a racetrack. Again, they've trained over it pretty consistently over the past few weeks. If it favors any one horse, it is one of the top older horses from last year, Evening Attire, who excels on the off track. Gary?
All right, Caden, thanks so much. We'll look forward to the running of the Brooklyn coming up in just a couple of moments as you take a look at the Twin Spires and a couple of broadcasters here getting ready for a big day of racing. Let's take a look at the field for the Brooklyn. First of all, Harlan's Holiday in off a big layoff.
Yeah, some of the top contenders here. He certainly is included. This is his last American start in the Don Handicap. After that, he was second in the Dubai World Cup. The question is, how will he bounce back from the long trip to Dubai? Trainer Todd Fletcher says he's doing well.
Speaking of long layoffs, Evening Attire has the longest coming into the race today.
He hasn't started since November. This was his most recent race, an 8-length win in the Red Smith Handicap. In his last start on a sloppy track, he won by 10 lengths. But the questions are the layoff and the 1.125 distance.
And finally, the late closing Sarland, who is certainly coming into form for Shug McGahee.
He was flying here at Aldebaran at the end of the Metropolitan Handicap on a sloppy track, but the pace should be much slower here than he saw on that day.
We're ready for the Brooklyn. Here's the call with track announcer Tom Durkin. They are set to go.
And they're off. Harlan's Holiday missed the break, and Sarland comes out first. Sarland on the lead in the first furlong. Usually comes from way out of it. Here comes Iron Deputy, though, and he's looking for the lead. Valponi away third. Then it's a break of another 3 lengths back to the late-breaking Harlan's Holiday, and Evening Attire takes his usual early position near the back of the pack. So Iron Deputy is taking the initiative now. It's Iron Deputy in front. Sarland showing uncharacteristic early speed. The first quarter went in 23 and 2/5 seconds. Continuing the run down the backstretch, Iron Deputy Jose Santos has moved Valponi to the inside. Sarland's alongside him, and then it's Harlan's Holiday kept within 3 lengths of the lead at the midway point down the backstretch, and Evening Attire is allowed to settle into a precise gallop with 5 furlongs remaining. Iron Deputy still on top, clicked off a half in 46 and 4. Sarland right there, hard on his heels second. Valponi looms a threat right there. An unhurried third on the inside. Harlan's Holiday. Evening Attire now beginning to pick it up. Wide open, midway around the far turn. Iron Deputy by a length. On the inside, Valponi looms. On the outside, Sarland lost the spot, and he's now back to third. Evening Attire is coming through on the inside. They ran 3/4 in 1:10 flat. Farther back, Holland's Holiday has dropped back to trail the field. And Iron Deputy comes off the turn in front. And the Breeders' Cup Classic winner, Valponi, switched to the outside for the run into the last furlong. Starland is third. Iron Deputy trying to pull it off here. Leads by a length and a half. Valponi is full out, but still second with the 16th to go. Migliore working on Iron Deputy. They're in front, and they have won the Brooklyn in front-running style, winning it by 2.5 lengths. Valponi checked in second. Starland was third. The final time was 1:47.4.
Iron Deputy, in just his 8th career start, picks up his 5th win, 2nd in a row, holding off all challengers, including Valponi, the Breeders' Cup Classic winner, and the ever-improving Starland.
Helped by the fact that in a 5-horse field, there was absolutely no early speed in there. You know when Starland is pressing the early pace that you are talking about a paceless race, and obviously the sloppy track condition didn't hurt him at all either. A decent race for Valponi, rallying for second, still probably, well, definitely still not quite at the level that he was when he won the Breeders' Cup Classic last year. But Iron Deputy, the first major stakes win of his career. He is 5 for 8 lifetime, though.
We'll have the results of the Brooklyn. We'll have the Leonard Richards from Delaware and the Stephen Foster from right here at Churchill after this quick timeout.
Have you ever dreamed about owning a private jet? Why dream? NetJet's fractional aircraft ownership makes it possible and affordable. The best aircraft, the most experience, and the financial resources to ensure the highest standards in safety, security, and reliability. More of the world's most successful individuals and companies choose NetJets. Why not you? NetJets. Leave nothing to chance.
For the horse, strength is of prime importance. It guarantees his most precious asset, his incredible speed. Strength is the basis of his future, his offspring, for generations to come. When you're speaking of strength for generations, speak to someone who's in it for the long run. Strength. Bessemer Trust, enhancing private wealth for generations.
Introducing Long John Silver's crunchiest shrimp ever, our new Golden Crunch Shrimp. Deliciously crunchy breading on our succulent, juicy shrimp. Try it with a drizzle of honey sauce. It doesn't get any crunchier than this. Now get 5 big pieces of our Golden Crunch Shrimp with a piece of our delicious one-of-a-kind batter-dipped fish, plus fries and hush puppies and a drink for just $3.99. It's our crunchiest shrimp ever. New Golden Crunch Shrimp. Dive into something new at Long John Silver's.
Truth is, you may not win the grand prize, but don't sit inside and feel sorry for yourself. Get out and drive your consolation prize. Enter the Citgo Peel Out, Reel In, and Win $1 Million Challenge. And you just might have to settle for a Roush Stage 3 Mustang, a Triton Bass Boat, a Kawasaki ATV, or jet ski, or one of over 1,000 other prizes. Or maybe you'll get really lucky and take home the grand prize, $1 million. Enter at your participating Citgo.
Monday, you haven't seen Hillary Clinton until you've seen her with
David Letterman.
Don't miss the interview everyone will be talking about. What? Monday on an all-new day.
Tomorrow, Paul Newman's racing team tries to repeat last year's 1-2 finish at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Monterey as Bridgestone presents Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. For more, go to CBSSportsline.com. America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline. There's a look at the winner, Iron Deputy. Richard Migliore, one of New York's leading riders aboard for trainer Jimmy Jerkins and owners John and Susan Moore.
Here's a horse that's seen his career interrupted by a hairline fracture of a leg, by cracked hooves. And trainer Jimmy Jerkins, incidentally, gets to join his father now, Hall of Famer Alan Jerkins, as a winner of the Brooklyn and the first Brooklyn winner for jockey Richie Migliore.
All right, take a look at Delaware Park in Wilmington, Delaware. They also had some nasty, miserable weather a little bit early on, or about an hour ago. Jay Privman is standing by. And Jay's to give us the lowdown on today's running of the 1 1/16, grade 3, Leonard Richards, part of the Classic Division. 3-year-olds going for $250,000. And Jay, Leonard Richards, one of the races that begins or kind of represents the beginning of the second season for 3-year-olds, right?
That's exactly right, Gary. You know, we just had one of the most compelling Triple Crowns finish a week ago with the Belmont Stakes. But 1 week later, some of the better 3-year-olds in the country trying to get to the level of Funnyside and Empire Maker by the end of the year. And you're going to see some of those horses this afternoon here at Delaware Park. Horses like Cherokee's Boy, who you might remember ran in the Preakness Stakes in his last start. Most of the horses in the race today had aspirations of running in the Triple Crown. Few of them got there. But like with human athletes, a lot of horses develop at later times. And the horses in the race today are hoping that maybe by the end of the year, they will be good enough to run against the likes of Empire Maker and Funnyside. They take that first step today in the Leonard Richards. Earlier today, we had a torrential downpour about an hour ago. It didn't really affect the condition of the track, though. It is still fast. I talked to trainer Tony Ritchie, who's got a horse in the race today, and he said that one of the reasons that the track here speeds up is because there is so much sand in the track that it gets much faster. Let's look now at the horses on the track for this race, beginning with Rockin' Robin. First of all, let's take a look at the odds. There are 12 entered in the race. There are 4 scratches out of here. Number 1, Gang, and number 5, Region of Merit, out of the race. Go Rockin' Robin, the favorite right now, at 9-5. And also Mount Carson and Lone Star Sky scratched out of this race as well. Second choice right now is New York Hero at 4-1. Horse is getting ready to load for this race. Let's take it back now to Gary and Randy.
All right, Jay, thanks so much. We'll be getting back over to Jay Privman down at Delaware Park in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware, in just a couple of minutes for the running of the Leonard Richards. And we're going to take a look at some of the horses going post-bred, including like Cherokee's Boy, a horse that a lot of people know, finished a well-beaten 8th in the Preakness Stakes in the most recent start. Good effort there, and I think this horse really has a shot, Randy, to become a part of it today.
Yeah, of course, he was overmatched in the Preakness. Before that, in this race, the Federico Tessio at Pimlico, you see he won pretty convincingly. That's him in front. He went wire to wire on this day, but he can also sit from off the pace if necessary.
And also, New York Hero named after the heroes in New York after 9/11.
Here he was winning the Lanes End Stakes at Turfway Park. He was on the lead that day. He also ran in the Preakness, finished 6th in the Preakness, and he, sort of like Cherokee's Boy, can go to the lead or he can sit off the pace.
And Go Rockin' Robin, who upset the field in the Peter Pan last time out at 13-1.
And that's why he's the favorite right now at 8-5. And, you know, Funnyside isn't the only New York bred of distorted humor that can run. Look at that guy go. 6th win in the Peter Pan. They almost ran him in the Belmont Stakes. He was so impressive that day.
Delaware Park, they are getting close to the gate for the running of the Leonard Richards. And while we're looking at the gate at Delaware Park, we're going to take a look at the results of the Brooklyn Handicap. They named him the Tough Luck horse because he certainly had a lot of it. Iron Deputy wins and returns 15-20, Randy.
Volponi and Sarland complete the trifecta, exactly their 61 bucks. Let's get back to Delaware.
Let's do it. They are at the gate, and as we watch them load in, we see that the stakes and track record. Who has those honors? Scatmandu, a 98 stakes record. And Randy, some final thoughts here. Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to give a little edge to New York Hero just because I thought he didn't have a particularly good trip in the Preakness. But the pace scenario here is going to be pretty interesting. Don 6. Watch Don 6 from post number 9 as they leave the starting gate. On paper, and I know these things can often go awry, on paper he figures to be the pace setter, and horses like New York Hero and Go Rockin' Robin and Cherokee's Boy not too far behind.
All right, we're just about set to go out to the track. I like the 9, Don 6, getting 4-1 currently. And you hear John Curran in the background. He is getting ready to give us the call of the Leonard Richards. Here's John Curran.
Cherokee's Boy, we're about set for a start. And they're off in the Leonard Richards. That's a pretty good start for them all. From the far outside, Cherokee's Boy showing some speed today, as is New York Hero. Ironton is there, and awesome time down toward the inside. They battle for that early lead into the first turn. Ironton unexpectedly on the front end by a head. New York Hero toward the outside, awesome time with that rail. Then Go Rockin' Robin saves all the ground toward the inside. Christine Zalo up on the far outside. Gimme Wink is next in line in 6th. Trailers are Cherokee's Boy, who shuffled back there after that alert beginning, and Don 6 unexpectedly at the back of the pack. Opening quarter goes in 22-3. And as they straighten away, Ironton on the inside, New York Hero on the outsider, head-to-head. 2.5 lengths to Awesome Time. A length further back to Christine's Outlaw. Go Rockin' Robin with that rail racing in 5th. Cherokee's Boy right alongside 6. Don 6 will have to come from out of it today. A new strategy for him. And Gimme a Wink is now the trailer, but only about 6 lengths separates this field. Half in a good 46 seconds flat as they race into the turn. Ironton and Nicky Petro by 3 parts over New York Hero. Awesome Time is right there now making a run, as is Christine's Outlaw and Dominguez. A length and a half further back. Go Rockin' Robin boxed in down toward the inside. Cherokee's Boy, Don 6 and Gimme Wink still only 7 lengths top to bottom. Long shot, Awesome Time leads them as they race around the bend. Christine's Outlaw is right there, a threatening second. Ironton has run a big one now, dropping back as Cherokee's Boy begins a rally, followed by Gimme a Wink. The 6 went in 1:10-3 as they turn for home. Christine's Outlaw on the outside. Awesome Time. A pair of long shots are going at it. Cherokee's Boy's making a run in 3rd, a furlong to go. Awesome Time is digging in for black. In between horses, Christine's Outlaw. Cherokee's Boy's trying to run them both down. Awesome Time is dead game. Christine's Outlaw, Cherokee's Boy. It's going to be a 3-way thriller. Christine's Outlaw, Awesome Time, and a head bobber. Too tight to call. Followed by Cherokee's Boy 3rd.
Wow, there's a head bob either way. Actually, a little bit closer than that, Randy. Could go either way. A whisker will determine this one.
Yeah, 20-1, Awesome Time on the inside. I thought he might have got his head down. I know it's awful risky to call a photo finish like that, but until the photo comes up, I would put my money on Awesome Time and jockey Tony Black. And Nick Zito, the trainer of this horse, after a huge upset in the Kentucky Oaks with Birdtown at a pretty nice mutual there. He comes back here in the Leonard Richards, if this horse indeed got his nose down, but certainly Awesome Time ran a big race, win or lose. You see it's a head bob as they come to the wire. It just kind of depends on when the wire comes up. And it looks like Awesome Time edging Christine's Outlaw by a nose, but again, we got to wait for the official verification of that.
Tony Black aboard Awesome Time and Ramon Dominguez aboard Christine's Outlaw, and those two battling head-to-head right down to the finish. And at least the track camera crew over at Delaware following number 10, Christine's Outlaw, 3-year-old son of Wild Again, who wins maybe, possibly, 3rd win in 6 career starts.
Yeah, you know how tough horse racing can be. Awesome Time comes out of a race at Aqueduct in New York called the Withers. He was beaten 24 lengths in that race, and in that race he finished 20 lengths behind New York Hero and 22 lengths behind Don 6, and he comes back and beats them both.
We will have the final results of the Leonard Richards from Delaware Park coming up shortly as soon as the race is made official, but we are looking live at Hall of Famer D. Wayne Lucas in the paddock here at Churchill Downs, getting ready to saddle Proud Citizen in today's running, 22nd running of the Grade 1 Stephen Foster Handicap, and he's got Churchill's leading jockey aboard in Cornelio Velasquez. Lucas has won this race before. He won it with a horse by the name of Red Attack. May not be one of the biggest names that Lucas has ever trained, but he has won this race and is looking for his 2nd win here. There's a look at the 4-horse Randy, Crafty Shaw, who is a bit of an outsider. Calvin Burrell for trainer Peter Vestal.
There you see Calvin Burrell in the red and blue silks and Pete Vestal in the far right, trying to sneak out of the picture there. Crafty Shaw is a nice horse. He's a hard-knocking horse, but he has never beaten a horse the caliber of, let's say, Mineshaft.
Wow, there it is. It is the 2, Awesome Time, the winner of the Leonard Richards, Tony Black aboard, Nick Zito, the trainer. And as you pointed out, things have been going real well for New Yorker Nick Zito of late with Birdtown. There's your order of finish on the board at Delaware Park. 2:10, 11 and 3. 2:10, 11 and 3 in the Leonard Richards from Delaware. We'll get the official prices for you. There's a look at Mineshaft, number 12 in the field. And we'll take a look at the current odds for the Stephen Foster. 3-5 on Mineshaft, and we'll see that in just a second. Speaking of Mineshaft, Randy, who we're just looking at, trainer Neil Howard a little bit concerned not only about the post, but the post in combination with the weight assignments, but now with a couple of scratches, he gets to move in a little bit.
He moves in from the 12 post to the 10 post, but of course in relation to the other horses in the field, he's still on the far outside, and the weight was also a little bit of concern, but he's an awfully nice horse as well.
They're moving from the paddock area here at Churchill Downs through the tunnel and on to the track. And with that, it's now time for the next L, call to the post. A look at the field for the Stephen Foster, the 1 bonus pack, the 2 slider, both scratched. This is the Long John Silver's post parade, and we'll start with the 3 Colonial Colony, 4th to Mine Shaft in the Pimlico Special at 86 to 1. It's taken the 5-year-old 2 years to get to the graded stakes level.
Number 4 is Crafty Shaw. A long shot will be ridden by Calvin Burrell, as you saw in the paddock earlier. His trainer, Pete Vestal, said he would be tickled to death if Crafty Shaw just got 3rd place money. Here's the $3 million horse, number 5 Full Mandate, and Jockey Lonnie Mesh. Because of his pedigree, Full Mandate costs $3.2 million as a yearling, but so far has made only, as you see there, $191,000 on the track. And yet another long shot, Wood Moon, number 6, and Jockey John McKee. His trainer, Niall O'Callaghan, won the Stephen Foster 2 years ago with a 15 to 1 long shot. Right now, Wood Moon, though, 57 to 1 on the board.
And the 7 is Unbridled Vision, just 7 career starts at age 5 due to all kinds of physical problems, but he's won 2 in a row and is undefeated here at Churchill. And we'll take a look at the 8 Aldebaran. The Hall of Fame tandem of trainer Bobby Frankel and jockey Jerry Bailey have achieved unparalleled success, and Aldebaran is one of the reasons why. Added distance and mine shaft, the only concerns really. And number 9, Perfect Drift, 3rd to War emblem in last year's Kentucky Derby, and a horse well suited to turf or dirt. Last 2 have been on the lawn, but he returns to the main track today. It's the first time the trainer Murray Johnson has ridden Pat Day.
Which brings us to this horse, number 10, Consistency, and jockey Mark Guidry. They picked a good name for this horse. 5 starts, 4 wins in the second, but against lesser competition. Next, Proud Citizen, number 11, and jockey Cornelio Velasquez. Gary mentioned that the other horse, Perfect Drift, was 3rd in the Kentucky Derby last year. Proud Citizen was 2nd behind War Emblem right here under the Twin Spires. And finally, our heavy favorite, number 12, Mine Shaft, and Robbie Alvarado. Mine Shaft is on a roll. The son of AP Indy has won 6 of his 7 starts in the U.S., and right now the Daily Racing Form ranks him number 2 among American older handicap horses, behind only Medaglia d'Oro.
And with the win today, he becomes the sport's newest millionaire. Let's take a look at the current odds. We told you just a couple of moments ago that Mine Shaft was the heavy 3 to 5 choice. Let's see if that is still holding. Nothing but long shots on the first page, Randy, and yep, 3 to 5 is what you're getting.
That's an awfully short price on a horse that's top weight from the far outside post position, but he is just running sensationally in his last few races. I mean, he had been running against horses that were slightly lesser competition, but in the Pimlico Special in his last start, he really stepped up and was extremely impressive.
And there is a look at the 3 to 5 favorite, who has won 6 of 7 since shipping over from England and turf racing in England to the main track here in the States. And right now, Leslie Visser is standing by with Mine Shaft's owner, who made a transcontinental trip for today's race. Leslie?
Thanks, Gary. Well, I'm joined by a man with a most impressive resume, the owner and breeder of Mine Shaft and our ambassador to Great Britain. Welcome, Will Farish. Tell us a little bit about Mine Shaft. You've had so many great champions. What makes him special?
Well, he's special, Leslie, because as you know now, he's 6 out of 7. He ran in England. We gave him time to mature, and I've enjoyed having him over there. But he really didn't, as most APs don't, like the soft going. Came over here and actually trained very well in England on the all-weather courses. But you know, the rest has been history since he's gotten here.
He's made a great adjustment. Are you concerned today at all about either the outside post or the added weight?
Not really. He's a big horse. He carried 133 pounds in England. Carrying 123 today, I don't think it's going to bother him. Outside, he likes to get his feet under him and kind of get in position. So I really think it's an advantage rather than a disadvantage.
Well, we'll see. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, and our plenipotentiary.
Thank you very much.
I always wanted to say that. Back to you, Gary.
Well done.
Well done indeed. Thanks, Leslie. I wouldn't even attempt that. Aldebaran, can he get the distance? Frankel said for 800,000, he'll try the experiment.
They called us the angels of technology because we work so far up in the heavens.
Here on the plains rises a marvel of engineering, a giant radio antenna built to make coast-to-coast walkie-talkies possible. It's the tallest structure in the world.
The engineering is incredibly complex. I mean, the tower is over 400,000 feet tall.
To be a part of something that can be seen from space, well, you can't help but feel a little bit proud.
No, that's not how we did it. Introducing Nextel's coast-to-coast walkie-talkie. Now that's a walkie-talkie.
race, CBS Thursday.
Here come the Yankees, shouting out loud, Yankees, CBS 2 and New York Yankees. Oh, we're gonna win today.
Yanks Devil Rays, Tuesday at 7 on CBS 2.
Play the Route to Cool game from Dunkin' Donuts and MTV, and you could win a trip on a luxury tour bus to 3 concerts with 10 of your friends.
Is that who I think it is? I do. Hi, can I have your autograph? Will you sign this for me?
You'll live like a rock star.
Who's Mark Nardi? Who's Doug Gould?
At least the bus part. Get a Dunkin' Donuts cold drink, go to dd.mtv.com and enter the code from your cup. The more codes you enter, the better your chances.
The backflip, the coin flip, flipping your lid. But the best flip of all is on CBS 2. Hollywood Squares moves earlier to 7. Entertainment Tonight moves later to 7:30. Just flip to CBS 2 starting Monday. Online travel and 3 mistakes you can avoid. Monday at 11.
Last week at Belmont, Jerry Bailey and Empire Maker gave trainer Bobby Frankel his first Triple Crown race victory. Today, they look to rekindle that magic with their prized 5-year-old Aldebaran. But trainer Neil Howard has other ideas as Mineshaft looks for his 4th win in a row in the Stephen Foster Handicap from storied Churchill Downs. Next. And welcome back to Churchill Downs. A look at the Twin Spires here in Louisville, Kentucky, and a look at Aldebaran. And coming in off a couple of wins, Randy, after a real long string of second-itis. Now, he has been the distance a couple of times, but that was on the turf. And we'll talk about that in a second. There's Proud Citizen. You and I both think he's going to run better today.
Proud Citizen is in a position where I think, as Jerry Bailey alluded to earlier when he talked to Leslie, he's in a race without a lot of early speed. And he's coming off of a couple of races in which he was kind of dull and wasn't able to get close to the lead. In this race, I have a sneaking suspicion he may break quickly and go straight to the early lead because there's just not that much competition for him from a pace scenario.
Let's take a look at the NTRA Summer Pick 3 Will Pays, and not bad at all. They are, as a matter of fact, they're big. It's because of the prices that we've had so far. Obviously.
You see, yeah, Mineshaft is obviously the deserving favorite in the Will Pays, and the second choice in those is predictably Aldebaran.
The horses are at the Guinness starting gate, and they are just about ready to go. There is a look at Mineshaft, still the favorite in the field. And he's had a giveaway between 3 and 13 pounds for today's race.
Yeah, keep your eye on Mineshaft leaving the starting gate and in the run to the first turn. One of the keys to this race will be whether Mineshaft gets caught wide around the first turn at Churchill, or whether Robbie Alvarado can get him to the inside and find a better spot.
Let's go up to the voice of Churchill Downs, track announcer Luke Kreitloss.
Thanks, Gary. Just about set, all in line. Off and running in the Stephen Foster. Colonial Colony, Crafty Shaw on the outside. There goes Proud Citizen. Mineshaft broke perfectly on the far outside. And Aldebaran passing the stands. Proud Citizen takes the lead in that consistent season. Second, Perfect Drift is racing third. Crafty Shaw is racing along in fourth. Aldebaran cuts the corner in fifth. Mineshaft to his outside. They're right together early. Get back to Colonial Colony, followed by Unbridled Vision. A gap of 2 more back to Full Mandate. And Wood Moon at the back of the pack. He's 10 or more off the lead. Onto the backside they wheel. Crafty Shaw and Calvin Burrell, the neck in front consistency. Keeps the pressure up to the outside. The quarter moderate, 23 2/5 seconds. And Proud Citizen tracking a clear-cut third. Perfect Drift up the inside. The favorite Mineshaft in a perfect striking spot. He's 4.5 lengths off the pace in mid-pack now. Aldebaran is next to his inside. Comes Colonial Colony. Unbridled Vision nudged along early. Then it's Full Mandate and 2 farther back to Wood Moon at the back. Half in 46 4 passing the half-mile pole. Crafty Shaw neck in front. Mineshaft makes his move and he's up to take the lead around the turn. Consistency. Proud Citizen shuffle back fourth now. Behind that comes Perfect Drift. Aldebaran starts his rally. He's got 6 to make up at this point. Then Colonial Colony, a gap of 3 back to Unbridled Vision as they round the turn to the top of the lane. Mineshaft, Robbie Alvarado looking to throw the knockout punch. He's opened up by 2, turning for home. Perfect Drift is charged up into a contending spot in second. Crafty Shaw's racing third. Whips out now on Proud Citizen. Down inside the final furlong. Mineshaft shaken up by Robbie Alvarado. A stern test here from Perfect Drift on the outside. Perfect Drift poking his nose in front. Mineshaft tries to kick back. Perfect Drift in front. Mineshaft comes back on. Perfect Drift and Mineshaft. Perfect Drift a nose in the Stephen Foster beating out Mineshaft in a stiff drive. And Aldebaran was third in 147-2. Back down to Gary.
All right, Luke Kreitboss, thank you so much. An upset in the making. The first time the trainer Murray Johnson, who was trained here in Kentucky since the early 90s, the first time he has used Pat Day. Maybe you ought to think about it more often.
Perfect drift. Third, of course, last year here under the Twin Spires in the Kentucky Derby. This was his first start back at Churchill on the main track. He was coming off a race on the turf, and Murray Johnson switches him now back to the dirt. And honestly, I saw no excuses for Mineshaft. He got a decent position around the first turn, rolled to the lead like he was just going to go on with it as they turn for home, and yet Perfect Drift just runs him down in the last eighth of a mile. A huge performance by Perfect Drift, a 4-year-old who, Murray Johnson, an Australian guy. He's always wearing that Crocodile Dundee type hat. We'll see from him later. I can't say enough about his effort. I mean, he's had a couple of wins since his Kentucky Derby third last year, but they were far from the competition of, say, a Mineshaft, and he certainly throws his hat in the ring right now as one of the top handicap horses in America. Getting 8 pounds, though.
Yeah, right. Very true.
That's important.
And coming back a wide gap, about maybe an eighth of a mile, which is about at what Aldebaran was short, finishing third. Well, again, first time that Pat Day has ridden for Murray Johnson. Pat, Gary Seibel, congratulations on a great win here in the Stephen Foster. You had a battle right down to the finish.
Yes, it was a great horse race. Mr. Johnson told me in the paddock, he said, this horse is doing as good as he can be doing. He said, as a matter of fact, he just said, we're going to win the race. And done an awesome job. My congratulations to him and the team. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Murray, and look forward to a return effort. Praise God for a beautiful day. We had a wonderful trip. He responded gamely in the drive and got the victory. It was sweet.
Pat, I'm guessing that obviously you're probably keeping your eye on Robbie Alvarado and Mineshaft, correct?
Well, I was. They kind of swarmed the field over there just inside the half-mile pole, and I was in behind horses at that point. Middle of the turn, I eased out and called to my horse just to get him back in my sights. He responded very, very gamely. We had him, come to the head of the stretch. I think this horse has a little habit of waiting when he gets in front, so I didn't want to make the front too soon. But I felt like I had Mineshaft where I wanted him from the 8th pole to the wire.
All right, Pat Day, thanks so much. Great ride aboard Perfect Drift in today's Stephen Foster Handicap. There is a look at Mineshaft, the beaten favorite, second best today, but a very gallant effort nonetheless. And there is happy trainer Murray Johnson. He is the winner with Perfect Drift. We'll have the results and more when we return in a moment.
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head, Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
There are people in this world who know a good horse when they see one, usually from a lifetime of association. They see something in the carriage, the movement, the gait, the speed. Knowing a good horse flows from experience, looking to the future over generations. Experience, Bessemer Trust, enhancing private wealth for generations.
It takes experience, strong financial backing, and a record of success to get to the Breeders' Cup and to become the world's leading fractional aircraft ownership program. NetJets, all the benefits of private jet ownership and more at a fraction of the cost.
Get into the Blood Horse, the #1 thoroughbred weekly. Racing's most exciting, comprehensive, and behind-the-scenes coverage. Each week you get reports on race results, record-setting sales, breaking news, fascinating people, and information you can find only in the Blood Horse. All for only $1.72 an issue. Call now and get these 4 free gifts valued at almost $100 with your 1-year paid subscription. Call 1-800-582-5604 or subscribe on the web at bloodhorse.com. The Blood Horse. Get into it.
I'm Thalia Shuras. A charter fishing boat tragedy kills at least 9 people. And a grim warning about American kids and diabetes on tonight's CBS Evening News.
Tonight on CBS, it's The Price is Right in prime time with $1 million spectacular, followed by The District and The Agency. It's all here tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. Take a look at the final results now. Perfect Drift returning $15.60. Mineshaft was second, and Aldebaran was third. And Randy, not only good payoff specifically to this race, but the NTRA Summer Pick 3 will be hefty as well as the favorite goes down to defeat, as we take a look at Hall of Famer Pat Day, who wins for the 3rd time on the card today and his 3rd win on the Stephen Foster. There's a look, over $2,000 right now. Let's go down to a happy winner's circle where Leslie Visser is standing by with the winning connections. Leslie?
Gary, he must have known something underneath that hat. You just, Pat Day, you just signed him for this race in the last couple of, you must be very happy about that.
Yeah, anytime you get Pat Day at Churchill is a big positive.
Well, can you explain a little bit? You had a little good luck talisman here.
Yeah, the owners were down at the horse park yesterday, and the groom for John Henry gave us some hair out of John Henry's tail, and we put it on the chamois, and he rode with it, and that helped us get there.
Can't do much better than that. Congratulations to you, Murray. Back to you.
Leslie, thanks so much. To turn your dream of owning a racehorse into a reality, log on to thegreatestgame.com. Well, in the winner's circle, there is Perfect Drift, who winds up ultimately there after defeating the favorite and the heavy favorite Mineshaft. An excellent win, turf to dirt. Some people love that angle. We'll be back.
Introducing Long John Silver's crunchiest shrimp ever, our new Golden Crunch Shrimp. Deliciously crunchy breading on our succulent, juicy shrimp. Try it with a drizzle of honey sauce. It doesn't get any crunchier than this. Now get 5 big pieces of our Golden Crunch Shrimp with a piece of our delicious one-of-a-kind batter dip fish, plus fries and hush puppies and a drink for just $3.99. It's our crunchiest shrimp ever. New Golden Crunch Shrimp. Dive into something new at Long John Silver's.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, FedEx guy.
Let's get to work.
So it can store up to 1,000 addresses. It lets you print labels and find a drop box. It can email you when the package has been delivered and more. FedEx.com is just like having your own FedEx guy.
Hey.
Yeah?
Kind of freaked me out, man.
I expect to have them best condition of the racing career.
All Turfdom wants to know if Seabiscuit here can beat the great War Admiral.
Here we go, Seabiscuit and Triple Crown winner, War Admiral, head-to-head.
Paul Tracy and Bruno Junqueira put the heat on first-time winner Michel Jourdain Jr. at the Grand Prix of Monterey, the Champ Car World Series, Sunday on CBS. This CBS Sports Spectacular, the NTRA Summer Racing Tour, is sponsored by NetJets. Leave nothing to chance. Nextel, now with a coast-to-coast walkie-talkie built right in. Now that's a walkie-talkie. And by Guinness Draft Stout, enjoyed responsibly the world over.
And a look at the winner's trophy in the Stephen Foster Handicap. And again, 3rd win for Pat Day. And Rick Pitino, you saw presenting the trophy. You know, Randy, he used to be booed here in town. The lucky braid, that's a braid from John Henry's mane.
I've heard of a lot of good luck charms, but a hair from John Henry's tail is a new one on me. Kind of tough to get, you know.
All right, a look at Perfect Drift as he heads back to the barn. And a look at the day. Iron Deputy starts things out at a soggy Belmont track.
Iron Deputy leading start to finish under Richie Migliore. Then we segue to Delaware Park for the Leonard Richards and Nick Zito trained awesome time. And jockey Tony Black wins it by a whisker over fellow long shot Christine's Outlaw.
Perfect Drift on the
And
outside.
finally, right here, Churchill Downs, Perfect Drift outdueling heavily favored Mine Shaft and coming away with a win. As a matter of fact, his 6th in 13 career starts. And again, moving from the turf the last 2 starts to the main track. And a lot of people don't really particularly care for that too much. I know you're not a huge fan of that, but there are handicappers out there that do like that angle.
Sure, and you have to give Mine Shaft credit because he's spotting Perfect Drift 8 pounds, and you saw the margin of defeat there was only like about a head, so certainly that made a big difference. But Perfect Drift ran a huge race, running time 1:47.55. That's the 2nd fastest Stephen Foster in history. So it wasn't that Mine Shaft regressed any, it was that Perfect Drift jumped up and returned to his peak form with a huge effort.
Well, Stonecrest Farm, the owner of Perfect Drift, Murray Johnston again, the trainer, and Pat Day aboard for the first time today. All right, that's it for today, but you know there's a lot more coming up on the NTRA Summer Racing Tour. Next Saturday we'll be at Belmont Park, Thistledown, and Lone Star Park for 3 more live races as the NTRA Summer Racing Tour presented by Long John Silver's continues. For more, go to CBSSportsline.com. America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline. Well, for Randy Moss, Leslie Visser, Kate Bradar, and Jay Pridman, I'm Gary Seibel saying so long from Churchill Downs, where Perfect Drift has won the Stephen Foster Handicap. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports. See you next time, everybody. Take care.